Imagine this. You're sitting in the White House Situation Room, alarms blaring, lights flashing red, and a voice shouts, "Nuclear launch detected." That's how a house of dynamite begins. And from that first moment, Netflix viewers knew they were in for a ride. But what they didn't expect was the frustration that would follow. Kathryn Bigelow's new thriller dropped like, well, a stick of dynamite. Intense, unpredictable, and explosive. Yet, after the credits rolled, many fans weren't cheering. They were fuming. Because while the movie showed the terrifying tension of a nuclear crisis, it ended with something viewers couldn't handle. Absolutely no resolution, no explosion, no closure, no clear villain. Just silence and the weight of a decision we never get to see. Bigelow's A House of Dynamite unfolds from 3 different angles. First, inside the White House Situation Room. Then, deep in the United States Strategic Command. And finally, from the president himself, played by Idris Elba. Each segment covers the same 18 minutes, the period right after a nuclear missile is launched toward the United States. And each time, we see the same ticking clock, the same rising panic, the same impossible question. What do you do when the world is seconds away from ending? It's a haunting setup, one that plays more like a psychological test than a typical disaster movie. Viewers expected chaos and explosions. Instead, they got philosophy, tension, and moral paralysis. The director, Kathryn Bigelow, best known for war dramas like Zero Dark 30 and The Hurt Locker, isn't new to exploring human pressure under extreme conditions. But this time, she took it even further. She told Netflix's Tudum that the real enemy here isn't any one country or person. It's the system itself. The antagonist is the system we've built to essentially end the world on a hair trigger, she explained. That idea hits hard. It's not about heroes or villains. It's about the terrifying machine humanity has built, one mistake away from wiping itself out. Bigelow's message is clear. The system is the bomb. We're just living inside it. But when the film reached its final scene, everything came to a standstill. Idris Elba's president faces the most horrifying decision imaginable. Whether to retaliate against the unknown aggressor or let the missile hit Chicago to avoid all-out war. And then, the movie ends. The missile's impact is never shown. The president's decision? Left hanging. For some, this was genius, a moment that forces the audience to confront their own fears about power, responsibility, and survival. But for others, it felt like a cruel trick. After all that buildup, after all that tension, Bigelow just walks away, leaving us staring at a black screen and asking, "Wait, that's it?" Social media exploded almost as fast as that fictional missile. On X, formerly Twitter, one viewer wrote, "Nobody wants to hear the same story 3 times and have it end without an end." Another said, "I was glued to the TV. Then with that ending, I was praying the nuke hit me." Harsh words, but they capture the frustration perfectly. The film's structure, repeating the same events from 3 perspectives, felt brilliant at first, but for many, it quickly became exhausting. Some said it dragged. Others called it unfinished. It wasn't that audiences didn't get the message. They just didn't like being left hanging, especially after nearly 2 hours of non-stop tension. And yet, despite the outrage, A House of Dynamite has impressed critics. On Rotten Tomatoes, it's sitting comfortably with a 79% score. Reviewers praised its bold direction, its intensity, and Idris Elba's powerhouse performance. The Independent's Jeffrey McNabb even called it the most entertaining movie about mass destruction since Dr. Strangelove. So, what's going on here? How can a film be loved by critics and loathed by viewers at the same time? Maybe it's because Bigelow didn't set out to entertain. She set out to provoke, to make us uncomfortable. She didn't want to show the explosion. She wanted us to feel it inside our minds. In interviews, Bigelow said she wanted audiences to walk away thinking, okay, what do we do now? She called the film a global conversation starter, not just about nuclear weapons, but about the fragile systems that control them. We really are living in a house of dynamite, she said. And maybe that's the point. The movie isn't about the explosion. It's about the fuse. It's about the silent seconds where humanity decides its own fate. Whether you love or hate it, the film forces you to think about how. So yes, A House of Dynamite may not be the crowd-pleasing Netflix blockbuster people expected. It's more like a psychological grenade, one that goes off after you finish watching. The anger, the debates, the think pieces, that's all part of the plan. Bigelow wanted an explosion, just not the one we were waiting for. Whether you found the film brilliant or infuriating, one thing's for sure. It got people talking. And in an era where most movies fade away a day after release, that might be the real victory. So what do you think? Was Bigelow's choice powerful and thought-provoking, or just pretentious and lazy? Drop your thoughts below, because this conversation, just like that ending, is far from over. And maybe that's why A House of Dynamite is already being called one of the most divisive movies of the year. It's not just a story, it's a mirror. It forces us to see how fragile the systems we trust really are, how easily chaos can be triggered by human indecision. Some viewers turned it off in frustration, others immediately rewatched it, hunting for hidden clues. But no matter which side you're on, you can't deny one thing. It makes you feel something. Fear, confusion, anger, awe, emotions that don't fade when the screen goes black. That's the real dynamite Bigelow planted. Not in the story, but in us. The countdown doesn't end when the credits roll. It begins when we start questioning everything we just saw.